The alien girl had a pet, but it wasn't a pet any of us had ever seen before. It wasn't cute, it wasn't tame, and it wasn't even remotely friendly. It was a creature born from nightmares. Beastly, monstrous, its very presence bending reality around it. To the people of Earth, it was nothing less than terrifying. But to her, it was just her companion. The thing that had been with her since the day she crash-landed on Earth. Nobody understood why she loved it. But that didn't matter to her. She loved it anyway. And as much as Earth feared it, there was one person, one human, who saw it not as a monster but as a mirror of the girl herself. Someone who would soon discover that the real terror wasn't in the alien girl's pet, but in what lay hidden beneath the surface of their love. Story. It had been 5 years since the day the ship had crashed. The crash site, deep in the heart of the Pacific Ocean, was sealed off by the Earth's governments. It was supposed to be a simple containment protocol, keeping humanity safe from whatever strange visitors had arrived. But in that quiet, secretive zone, there was more than just a wreckage. There was a girl, an alien girl, a creature from a distant galaxy who had somehow survived the fiery wreckage of her ship. But she wasn't the only survivor. Her pet was a monstrosity, an entity unlike anything Earth had ever seen. A beast of pure energy and matter, seemingly woven together from the nightmares of the universe. With dark, shifting scales that absorbed light and limbs that seemed to stretch and twist in impossible directions, the creature struck fear into anyone who laid eyes on it. The governments did everything in their power to keep this strange life form locked away, but the girl never feared it. She was its caretaker, its companion, its protector. I was a young soldier, stationed in a top-secret division. Our mission was to observe, to understand, and if necessary, eliminate the alien threat. We had never encountered anything quite like it before, and it was only a matter of time before we would have to deal with it. But then I saw her, the alien girl. She was unlike anything I had expected. At first, I thought she would be something monstrous, something dangerous. She had a presence, yes, eyes that shimmered with the light of distant stars, skin that glowed faintly like the twilight of an unknown world. Her long, silvery hair floated gently as though the gravity of Earth had no hold on it. But what caught my attention wasn't her appearance. It was the way she held herself. She wasn't afraid, and neither was her pet. I remember the first time I saw them together. The creature, a massive, undulating form, stretched its limbs out as it hovered beside her, its glowing eyes locked on her with a sort of understanding I couldn't fathom. But it didn't attack. It didn't even growl. Instead, it followed her every movement like an obedient dog, or at least, that's how it appeared to me at the time. The soldiers around me were tense, their weapons drawn, ready for the slightest sign of aggression. But I knew something they didn't. Something that made me lower my gun when I saw her approach. Her name was Zethra, and she looked at me with a strange mixture of curiosity and caution, as if she were deciding whether I was friend or foe. The pet, what I later learned was called a Kazura, stood still, waiting for her command. Its black eyes locked with mine, and for a moment, I felt a chill crawl down my spine. But I didn't flinch. "Don't worry," Zethra said, her voice soft but firm. "He won't hurt you." "How do you know?" I asked, still not sure whether to trust her words. "Because he listens to me," she said simply, "just like he always has." I stared at her, my mind racing. This was no ordinary alien. And her pet, it was more than just an animal. It was something otherworldly, more dangerous, more powerful than anything we'd ever encountered before. The fact that she had tamed it, controlled it, it defied all logic. Yet she stood there, calmly, as though the creature were nothing more than a well-behaved pet. Over the following weeks, I became obsessed with her. Zethra was a mystery, and I couldn't understand her, how she was so calm, so composed, in the face of something so terrifying. But every time I approached her, my fear began to fade. There was a strange warmth in her presence, something magnetic that drew me in. I couldn't help myself. And it wasn't just her. It was her pet, too. I couldn't explain why, but when I saw the Kazura in the distance, a part of me felt safe. It didn't make sense, but somehow, I couldn't shake the feeling. One evening, as I sat alone in the dimly lit observation room, I caught sight of her again. She was standing by the edge of the compound, her pet beside her, looking out at the stars. I couldn't resist. I approached her quietly, my heart pounding in my chest. "Zethra," I called softly. She turned toward me, her expression unreadable, but there was a flicker of something in her eyes. Recognition, or maybe something else. "I don't understand," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "I don't understand how you can stand there with that creature. It terrifies everyone else. And yet, I paused, searching for the right words. "You trust it. You love it. Why?" Zethra looked at me, her face softening in a way I hadn't expected. "Because he saved me. When I first came to your world, I was alone. My ship was destroyed. Everyone I knew was gone. He found me. He protected me. He became my family." Her voice trembled slightly, and I realized then that the bond between them was far deeper than I had ever imagined. "But you're not afraid of him?" I asked, my voice full of wonder. She shook her head slowly. "No, I know him. I know his heart, just as he knows mine." Before I could respond, the Khazara suddenly shifted, its dark form stretching unnaturally as it moved closer to me. My heart raced, my hand instinctively going to my weapon. But Zethra placed a hand on my arm, stopping me. "He's not going to hurt you," she whispered, her voice calm and reassuring. "He's just curious." And in that moment, something inside me shifted. I looked at the creature, the Khazara, and saw it differently. It wasn't a monster. It wasn't a weapon. It was a companion, a protector, and it loved her just as much as she loved it. I looked back at Zethra, my feelings for her intensifying. I had always been afraid of the unknown, afraid of things I couldn't understand. But with her, I wasn't afraid anymore. "I think I understand now," I said, my voice barely audible. She smiled, a soft, sad smile that spoke of loss and longing. "I hope you do." The night passed, and we stood there together, watching the stars as the Khazar loomed protectively nearby. The fear had faded. The terror had been replaced by something else. Something stronger, something deeper, love. And as we stood there, beneath the vastness of the alien sky, I realized that perhaps the most terrifying thing in this universe wasn't the creatures that lurked in the dark corners of space. It was the things we couldn't control, the emotions that made us vulnerable, the connections we formed, and the love we shared, even when the world around us didn't understand it. In the end, Zethra's pet didn't terrify me. Her love for it, her love for something so different, so alien, was the true mystery, and I was willing to face it with her, no matter what came next.